Have you tried creating some black and white images with limited success? Do you want to have more control over the finished look of your black and whites? Well, if you'd like to learn how to make black and white images with more contrast and drama, then this is the video for you. Hi, I'm Darlene with Digital Photo Mentor, and in this tutorial, you're going to learn 5 quick tips to make better black and white images using Luminar Neo. So if you're ready to do some monochrome conversions, let's get started. Quick tip number 1 for better black and white images is to use the backslash key when you're doing your conversion. Let me show you what I mean. To do the conversion, you obviously want to head to the black and white tool. So let's open that and convert it to black and white. Once you've done that, now you see the monochrome image. You've got the sliders to adjust the various tones, but it can be challenging when you don't see the original color anymore. The simple solution here is to hold down the backslash key so you can see the color momentarily, then you can do your edits using the sliders. In this example, I think I want to make the reds darker, like so. And now I can see that the tones are all different. What I'm aiming for with this image is to have a variety of gray tones to represent the different colors. Because the challenge is that when they're converted, some colors come out the same tone. You can see that the pink and the yellow here could be really similar. So you have to pay really close attention to the various tones, and it's helpful to be able to see the original color. So just remember the backslash key is your friend here. Tip number 2 is to actually do some color adjustments before you do the black and white conversion. I've set that up already on this image. As you can see in the edit panel, I've used color harmony and color prior to applying the black and white conversion. I've just turned them off temporarily. So let me go back to color harmony. If you want to have more variety of tones between colors that end up looking similar in black and white, this tool can be really helpful. By using the color contrast slider and adjusting the hue, you can see how the various tones change. As a matter of fact, quite dramatically. So you can make the yellow brighter, you can make the blue lighter, and so on. Let's try something like this. So the yellow is quite a bit brighter and the blue is quite a bit darker. Another tool that you can use as well is color. This one will allow you to shift the hue, the saturation, or the luminance or brightness of each color. So you can take it even farther. For example, let's work on luminance and look at the orange. Once you go to the black and white conversion tool, there is no orange slider, only yellow and red. So using the orange slider here allows you to adjust the orange tones prior to conversion. Likewise, I can darken the blues and perhaps green a little bit as well. Now let's go to the black and white tool. I'm just going to reset the sliders, and you can see that the red and the blue, the original colors, come out almost identical now in black and white. So I can adjust the slider here, or I have the option of going back here as well. Now you can see that the pink and the yellow over on this side look really similar. So once again, I could go back to color and try something different. In this case, perhaps I want to shift the magenta to a bit more of a blue tone. Let's see how that works out. Now when I go to black and white conversion and I adjust the blue sliders, it's affecting that magenta tone as well. So keep in mind that even though you're converting the image to black and white and it will be all tones of gray, the color underneath in the original file matters. So using the Luminar Neo tools at your disposal to adjust the color of the image before you do the black and white conversion will help you make better final black and white images. And as we've just seen, it allows you to go back and tweak those tones to your liking. Let me show you another example of how this might play out on a landscape type of image. In this image of the cactus, you'll notice that the cactus is nice and bright and it stands out, and the background is darker. However, that was not the case in the original image, as you can see here. Let's take a look at how I used the two color tools to achieve that. I did some basic edits to this image to adjust the color and to clone some things out. Then I opened the color tool and shifted the hue of both the yellow and the green. The challenge with an image like this is that yellow and green are very close together on the color scale. And when you're adjusting the sliders in the black and white tool, it can affect both of them. So if we want one to be brighter and one to be darker, we have to shift them a little bit. So that's why I used the hue option here in the color tool. I shifted the orange hues more towards red. Now it's separate from yellow. With the green, I chose to make it more blue. Let's go to the extreme. If we want to take it farther, just go to the saturation option and add more saturation to orange, which is increasing that red tone. Now it looks really weird, but remember, we're going to convert this to black and white, so don't be scared. Under color harmony, I set the color contrast slider quite high and set the hue on green, which means that it's going to lighten and increase contrast on the tone where this slider sits. The opposite color, which in this case is red or magenta, will be darkened. Can you see how that's working? I also went a step further and masked it to just the cactus. So I wanted to brighten the green of the cactus. Now when we go to the black and white conversion, let me just undo it and apply it. Now we have the ability to brighten the green and darken the red. You'll notice that yellow affects the background and the foreground. So that's why I made the cactus more green or blue and the background more red, so that I could use these sliders. Can you see what a big difference that made? And while the color version looks a little bizarre and oversaturated, it works out really nicely when you do the black and white conversion. Tip number 3 is if you're going to do a sky replacement on a landscape image, do that before you do your black and white conversions. Here you can see that I've applied the sky replacement like this before doing the black and white conversion. Now I have the new sky to work with, and it also is monochromatic. If we apply the sky AI after doing the black and white conversion, watch what happens. I'm just going to select any sky and you'll see. Oops. The Sky AI tool is literally putting a new image into your sky. And of course, that image is in color. Because I applied the black and white tool previously, this new step is still in color. So I could apply black and white again on top of this, but the better plan is to do your sky replacements and all your color work first, and then do your black and white conversion last. You can also see another challenge here. It's not masking very well, and that is because the tones in the sky and the tones in the buildings are similar. And now that they're all monochromatic, Luminar is having a harder time distinguishing which is the sky and which is part of the landscape. So another reason to do your sky replacement first, before your black and white conversion. Before I move on to tip number 4, I just want to give you a little teaser that at the very end of the video, I have a bonus trick for you. So make sure to stick around till the end. If you enjoy my teaching style and have watched several of my videos here on YouTube, and you want to learn more about how to use this powerful software, check out Luminar Neo, the complete course. It contains over 17 hours of dedicated Luminar Neo tutorials, and you get my raw files. So what you see me demonstrating on the screen, you'll be able to follow along with the same image and do the same steps. I'll put a link to the course for you in the description area below the video. Coming back to the tips, the next 2 revolve around images of people or portraits. So tip number 4 is to change the eye color using the Face AI tool. Let's take a look and see what it does. In this image of my beautiful model Nancy, I've already done some basic edits and the black and white conversion. But let's take a closer look. You can see that her eyes are dark brown, so in black and white, they show up almost black. So here's the little trick. Using the Face AI tool, change the iris color to gray. Then you can adjust the iris flare, eye enhancer, and visibility to taste. But you'll notice what a big difference it's making here. You can also see that I've darkened her lips using the lip darkening slider. Be careful of two things here. Remember the sky? If we add lip redness here, it indeed does add red. I'm not a huge fan of this look, so I tend to stay away from adding partial color like this. Likewise, if you choose a color of eyes other than gray, for example, blue, you'll get colored eyes. Again, it's not really my personal style, but if it's something that you like, you can give it a go. If you want to keep the eyes neutral, just choose gray. And finally, quick tip number 5 is to use the Portrait Bokeh tool to adjust the tones of the background. I did just that here. Compare this to the original image. You can see that the background is just gray. Here, I've dialed it down to -100 on the warm scale so that the background is blue. But you could also go the other way and make it more warm or yellow. I chose blue on purpose because it's a contrasting color to her skin tone, so I know when I go to the black and white conversion, I'll be able to adjust them independently. Of course, you can also darken or lighten the background using the brightness slider here in the Portrait Bokeh tool. So I'm going to actually lighten it a little bit. Then when we come to the black and white conversion, remember how I said now we have the option of controlling the background color. If the background is neutral or gray, it's not going to be affected by any of these sliders. So by adding a tint to the background using the Portrait Bokeh tool, now I can use the slider to adjust it. Of course, you need to make note that it will affect anything else in your image that's blue as well. Then I just applied a dark edge vignette. So the background effectively fades from a lighter tone behind her out to black on the edges. Before I give you the bonus tip, let me just ask you a question. How often do you do black and white images? Never? 50% of the time? Or are you a dedicated fan like me and you do it quite often? Let me know in the comment area below. Just a quick reminder, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and feel free to share any of our videos on your social media accounts. If you need to purchase Luminar Neo or get an upgrade, remember to use our code DPM10 to get an additional 10% off when you check out. Okay, here's the bonus tip. Once you're finished with your black and white conversion, duplicate the layer. I've already done that. Then all I did was I went into this layer that's now on top and deleted the black and white conversion. Now, by simply adjusting the opacity of the layer, you can add or subtract a bit of color. I kind of like this faded out look at about 60%. And of course, you have all the options with layers to apply here, such as blend modes and layer masking, so you can get really creative with your final look. I hope you've enjoyed this video on 5 quick tips for better black and white conversion using Luminar Neo. Remember to check out my full course if you want more learning, and if you'd like to watch another video here on YouTube, just click one on the screen now. Until next time, take care.